Yo, what is up, guys? What is poppin'? We are back with season 4 of the IDM International Draft Masters, I think is what the abbreviation is for. A league that we won in season 1, 2, and 3, so we pretty much made it our bitch. I think I'm like 33 to 5 or 38 to 5 over 3 seasons. 33 to 5, I think, makes sense. Um, I I like just drafted insane squads. Twice around Magiana, once around Aegislash, and yeah, they didn't have really a match for me. It's a fun league on the side, but it's still a solid competition. I don't want to sound too cocky, but the first 3 seasons there was like nobody that had a chance to beat me at all. So that's pretty clean. And because we won 3 seasons in a row. I got rewarded with with this fucker here in the middle with big mega Metagross, which is on my squad. My first round pick this season. Pretty cool that this league rewards winning. But yeah, we'll see if Mega Metagross is a little bit too busted for the format or not. I think it's really solid, but I don't think it's as broken as it was in Gen 6. But obviously, I've never used it in Gen 7 before. This is the first time I'm using it in this league. So we'll see how it goes. I didn't upload a draft recap for this league, just didn't feel like it. But my team is, in my opinion, pretty solid. Probably one of the better ones I drafted, even though like we had some guys make power rankings and yeah, they were kind of iffy on it because I don't have great removal options. But I think I supported Mega Metagross and my offense in Zeraora, for example, pretty well with a team that suits my style. So I'm not too worried about it. You see the 6 months I bring here in week 1. Licky Licky, an OG member in IDM. I think I had it in 2 seasons already. Quillfish, which is a mon that I absolutely love. Zeraora, which is cool mon that I've been dying to use. It's my Z Captain too. Pretty fun mon. Hyped to use it. Mega Metagross, Pelipper, Como-O. Como-O I think is a very underrated dragon. I've been dying to use that fucker for a while, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped to have it. The 5 months that are also on my team that you don't see here are Dawnfan, which I picked up just for spin in the ground type. Tapu Bulu, Z Ludicolo because Ludicolo in terrain and in rain is pretty nice. Alolan Muk, which is a fantastic mod, helps Metagross out with switching into dark type attacks and ghost type attacks. And we got Moltres on the squad. So Bulu, Muk, Moltres, Ludicolo, and Dawnfan round on the squad. I think it's a pretty solid squad. It doesn't have too many flashy mons, but mons that play their roles perfectly. So yeah, pretty happy with how the draft went. Obviously, my opponent here, he got my boy Talonflame, so I had to get Moltres. But Moltres is solid on rain for sure. Fun mon to use and pretty much functions in a similar role as Talonflame in some matchups, I would say. Um, Looking at my opponent's squad for week 1, he had a pretty interesting draft. It was kind of like Mega Tita Drill plus Stall. He has Ladias, he has Celesteela, he has Z-Talon, Amoonguss, Azumarill. He also has a Z Thunderous T, but he also has a Chansey, Toxic Rogue, Mega Tyranitar, obviously, and like some other annoying stuff, but overall a very fat team that I hope I could capitalize on. Going into this game, I knew this was probably gonna be a long one. So I knew directly the first 2 months I put on the squad were Licky Licky and Quillfish. I knew I wanted Hazards versus him, even though looking at his team, spikes aren't as great, but they help chipping down Amoonguss and putting it in range for Zeraora or Metagross. They help chipping down Excadrill, which is actually a pretty big threat, but looking at him not bringing sand, it's not as great versus me, so that's kind of clean. And obviously it helps versus Azumarill. Like Azumarill Bandit Azu could be a big nuisance if he like somehow chips down my Quillfish. But in rain, like Bandit Azu hits pretty hard. Even like with liquidation, does like 40 to my mostly defensive Quillfish. But anyway, the monster that I brought Licky Licky, Wish Protect, Heal Bell, and Ice Punch. Ice Punch with like 116, I think, attack EV, so that I 2-hit KO Thunderous Team most of the time. I also break like bulky Ladia substitutes if you want to go for that. Um, I punish Among Us coming in for, or thinking it can come in for free. I can like ship Talonflame a little, can't ship Celestia a little. I can, I think, 3 at KO, Excadrill after Spike, so that's pretty clean. Licky Licky just helps me switching into Zera Aura on Metagross, making the offensive switches versus of his some of his more offensive mons, or versus Celestia to like make up for Leech Seed Chip, for example. Next up we got Quillfish, Dual Step with Scald and Sludge Bomb, Spikes, and I think Toxic, yeah, Toxic just to catch potentially a Latias on a switch into Hell Beat, a Spadef Talonflame 1 vs 1 to like Sludge Bomb to chip Azumarill. I expect him to bring more of a defensive Sepsiper Azu, but it could be banded for sure. But Sepsiper Azu is one of his best answers to Bulu plus Ludicolo. Yes, Mungas and Celesteela and Talon in Bulu's case can check these mons fairly well, but um, they are kind of pressured by, for example, Nature's Madness Bulu um, into like Z Ludicolo, so he kind of has to account for that by bringing Sepsiper Azu. Zera Aura is a bulk up set with the Fire MZ, Fire Punch, Close Combat, Plasma Fist, very very bulky. I only creep like a Talonflame that creeps my Metagross, which Adamant Talonflame can do by running max speed. So I hope I outspeed it. I also obviously outspeed Ladias in that case. But this mon is a sick win con versus him. I pretty much just need to identify a potential Scarf Exca and remove Ladias to win with Zera Aura. So it's probably my best win con here. Metagross, Adamant, very very fat, very slow. This week I got Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Hammer Arm, and Substitute. The coverage allows me to pretty much hit everything for neutral or super effective damage. I think even super effective damage besides mons like Toxic Rogue, which just get 2 KO by Thunder Punch anyway. So pretty sick. Adamant, as I said, to get to get 2 KO on 2 KO on Spadef Celesteela, and to have a chance to 2 KO it if it's not lefties after rocks. So that's pretty clean. Substitute to capitalize on Leech Seeds from uh, from Celesteela to capitalize on Spores, from Among Us to sub up versus a Whirlpool or resting Sepsiper Azu, and to capitalize on sacks, obviously. Like if he has an obvious sack in the back, I can just sub up versus a Mon and then like be in a prime position to claim one more kill than I should have. So solid Mon here. I only run enough speed for Adamant, Excadrill. Didn't feel like I needed to speed her with Ladias because Ladias usually can't touch a fat Metagross. Like versus my spread, even Life of HP Fire, I don't think is a 3 KO. I'm definitely not a 2 KO, even if it's modest, so that's pretty clean. Pelipper's here, my designed check to sand offense. Yes, I obviously can't switch into Megatita, but that's what I got Como for. But I switch into Excadrill fairly well. Rock Slide, even if it's Life Orb, is not a 2 KO from full. I got Scald, Hurricane, Knockoff, and Roost. Pretty much hits his entire team, and Knockoff is a nice lure versus a Soldew or Scarf or Specs or Life Orb Ladias, which allows my Licky Licky to check it better and not get tricked, for example, and like lures Celesteela kinda if it's a Spadeffer, and I can get rid of a leftovers or a berry or something like that, which really helps out Zera on Metagross, beating it down. Last one, I got a mostly Fizz Death Como with Close Combat, Flamethrower, Stealth Rock, and Rock Tomb. I live pretty much any hit from Talonflame unless it's unboosted. Like I think I live a Supersonic Sky Strike from full, I'm pretty sure. And I like take like 60-ish from, or 58 from a Jolly Max Attack Brave Bird. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like Como's bulk is crazy. But anyway, let's hop right into this game. I think I talked enough. Yeah, it's like 9 minutes already, but let's hop right into it and see how it goes. I decided to lead off with my Pelipper because it covers a Spore Among Us lead. It covers a Taunt Talon lead if he wants to prevent hazards from Como or Quillfish. It covers there's a Drill. Yeah, it covers Drill. Covers Celesteela kinda because it can just knock. So I felt like overall this was my best lead. I can get up a Rain, which helps Metagross staying in versus Talonflame. So we see how it goes. But he leads Ladias, smart lead, covers my Quillfish lead, covers my Como lead, and also pretty much covered every lead bar Metagross and Licky Licky. I really want to lead Metagross, but I felt like if he leads a Sash, Excadrill, or Scarf Drill, I'm in the back already. Now I'm in the back already, but this is not a problem. I can go into my Licky Licky and yeah, just take a Psychic. He does 32. I go for the Wish here just to see gauge the damage. He does 37, which reveals to be now reveals to be a what's it called, a Soldu Ladias. Looks like timid, max special attack, max speed. But yeah, like because my Spadef dropped, I can't Wish Pass into Metagross. I can just go into it, and he Reflect types. Reflect type a smart tech versus me for sure because it helps versus Muk. Like Muk could easily like 1v1 Ladias if it weren't Reflective, and I could Pursue Trap it, so pretty smart tech. But here, like because going to Metagross doesn't really gain anything. Thunder Punch is still like a likely 2-hit KO, or that's like 40. But he takes away the Ice Punch, the Ice Punch being super effective, so that's clean. I just Mega Evolve and Thunder Punch here. He goes for Earthquake doing 27. So I do 40 with the Thunder Punch. I don't want to stay in because he probably has Roost, so I go into my Zeraora, knowing that he has Steel typing. I can just buff him with the Fire Z here after bulk up. I know his entire set here now: Psychic, Reflect Type, Earthquake, and Roost. After bulk up, Earthquake bounces. Psychic is probably like doing around 50, but I guaranteed outspeed. I can do what I want here. So I just bulk up. I can Wish Pass later if he stays in and attacks. But he goes into Amoonguss here, and I will just pop my Fire Z here. He doesn't really have a switch, and like even Ladias is, I think, 2-hit KO'd or close to being 2-hit KO'd by like by Inferno Overdrive into Plasma Fist, because it's probably not bulky Ladi, so he doesn't really have an answer. He could scout for the Fire Z by going into Talonflame or Azumarill, but that would just mean that he loses a turn or two, and he would give me free information on the set. So I think his play is here 100% to like either attack or Spore or whatever. So I bought my Fire Z. It was a roll in his favor, slightly. It was almost a 50-50 roll, like maybe 43 to 57, but in his favor. And he lives on 1, which gives him gives him the clear smog. But I can just like go for the Plasma Fist and knock out the Amoonguss. I don't think he will switch out and scout. Me going for bulk up is too likely. I think he has to spam clear smog. And I removed the Amoonguss, which is nice, because I didn't have a Spore switch in. So, but it looks like he didn't have Spore, to be honest. He probably would have clicked it over the clear smoke here, but I don't know. He brings in his Excadrill. This could be Scarf. I don't know. I don't think it is Scarfed on this build, but it very well could be, and I'm just playing it like it would be, like it is Scarf. No reason for me to sack my Zeraora here, knowing that it can like really just sweep my opponent if played well. So I switch out into my Pelipper. He goes for the Earthquake, and yeah, he gives me a free Scout here on this turn, I think. Or a free knockoff. Yeah, I think I go for the knockoff here because it covers him going into the defensive Azu and it's Celestia. And the knockoff to Chesterberry, which pretty much confirms that this is a Perish Trap except Azu. I go into my Quillfish. I see Whirlpools. Could have made an offensive switch into Zeraora, but I didn't want to take the unnecessary chip on my Wincon. I can just Sludge from here, get the Poison, which doesn't really matter as he Perish songs up. On his Protect, I just like stunt and go for a Spike, even though it only hits Excadrill and Azu if it switches out. I can go for a Sludge Bomb for some chip on this next turn, knowing that he has to burn sleep turns. He goes for Protect. I don't know why he clicked Protect as he was asleep, because like this is free information for me, but whatever. I go for the Sludge Bomb, get some chip, and now I go for the Toxic because he knows like Sludge Bomb is obvious, but he knows that I probably also have Scald, so he wants to preserve his Azumarill here, and he could go into Celestina or Excadrill, but knowing that I am very capable of making a prediction, as I did like with the Spike on the on the rest earlier, like he probably wants to make the mid-ground play and go into Ladias, so I will decide to click Toxic here. If he stays in, he goes down, so there's pretty much no drawback, and like the 12% Scald chip on Celesteela don't really matter too much to me, because if he goes Celesteela, he gives me a free Zera Aura. So I felt like Latias was his best play 100% of the time. I click Toxic and he actually goes into Latias, so I catch that one, which really helps Licky and Metagross beat it 1v1. So I go into my Licky, I can just fire off a Wish as he goes into Cellar, which is annoying because he can like just leech it here, but he pulls a nice double into Excadrill as I Wish Pass into my Metagross. If he Scarf, that was a nice play. I could stay in here still, but I decided to switch out again. I think into my... No, I go for the Hammer Arm here. Yeah, I went for the Hammer Arm because I knew I lived an Element Scarf Earthquake and I knocked out even max HP Excadrill with the Hammer Arm. So it wasn't no drawback play pretty much because he allowed me to Wish Pass my Metagross back up to full. So I go for the Hammer Arm as he goes into his Azu, which only had burned one turn of sleep, and this is amazing for me because he can just sub up here and then bop it with the Thunder Punch on the next turn. So Azu going down and my Metagross being in a position to either get a kill or like chip something down. He goes into Celesteela as I just go for the T-Punch and I do 57. I'm like, ooh, that's nice. He goes for the Flamethrower. He has sub up once more because I don't necessarily need my HP. They don't really make a difference versus any mon because Adamant Flare Blitz knocks me out from 75 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I go for a sub. He goes for a Flamethrower. Gets back to 55, and I'm like, yeah, here I Thunder Punch. As I get a 49 roll, like I got probably the max and the min, and he goes for Leech Seed now, so he plays it really well. Here I switch out, predicting him to protect, and he makes another great play and goes for the Leech Seed. Getting back to 41 with his with his Celestia. Now he protects, I think. No, he Flamethrowers, but he gets back to 50 pretty much, which is kind of annoying because I got a low roll, but it happens. Go for the knock here with my Pelipper. I think I just knock again as he goes into Lati. No, I Scald on this turn because I want to fish for a burn and cover like him going into Z Talonflame to bot me. But Latias coming in always gives me a free Licky, always gives me a free Wish unless he gets his Death Drop again. But yeah, I can Wish here and go back into my Zeraora versus the Celesteela as he goes into Drill. And I think here I make a play and go into Komoro instead of Pelipper because I already revealed Pelipper to be my initial switch in. I predict the Rock Slide or the Rapid Spin coming out here. So I go into my Komoro, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I do that. And the Earthquakes doesn't really matter. He does 40, which shows that he's probably Adamant. But I get Lefty Spec and can go for my Rocks here, which is pretty clean. Pressure Talon. Talon comes in, and here I don't know much about this Talon, but I know that I live any non-Z Brave Bird, so I feel like Rock Tomb is a pretty safe play because I can't give him a free SD, because if he is faster than my Zeraora, I could just lose here pretty much, which would be fairly annoying. I just had to like sack Pelipper to get a brain and then live a hit with my Zeraora to bop it. So I felt like, yeah, slowing it down, go for Rock Tomb is my best play. And if he has some move like Toxic or something to lure Licky or Pelipper, he's probably going for it. I don't think he would ever go for Z Brave Bird here, just because like my Zeraora is a full, my Metagross is a potential sack. It isn't that great anymore, especially if this Excadrill is Adamant Scarf. So I felt like, yeah, his best place to probably predict Pelipper, but you can't predict Pelipper by just clicking Brave Bird here. So even if he goes for Brave Bird, I live, but he goes for the Hidden Power, which looks to be electric, and I get off 88 with the Rock Tomb, which is pretty sick. I can just like, I think, Flamethrower here. No, I Rock Tomb again, yeah, in case he roosts up. Guarantee that he's slow, and this thing comes in, I just Flamethrower here as he decides to try and chip me down with the Air Slash, and yeah, now Celesteela is pretty much dead to anything. I go for the Close Combat for no reason, pretty much to guarantee the kill on Excadrill. That was pretty much the only reason. Latias comes in, which gives me a free Metagross on the Psychic. Psychic into Earthquake was a slight roll to KO me here from this range, if I calced everything correctly, but I didn't think it would KO me because I'm very much Spadef. And now he's like, I'm at 28%, he needs I think like close to max roll to bop me. I just go for the Ice Punch here and try to knock him out. As he goes for the Earthquake, I live on 3. and Metagross just doesn't want to die. um, now Extra Drill comes in. I know he's pretty much forced to go for the Rapid Spin, so I could stay in, but if he's Scarf, I don't want him to give I don't want to give him the free kill here, so I just go into my Pelipper, which also if he goes for the Scarf EQ or Scarf Iron Head or whatever, covers pretty much every play he has. If he Rapid Spins and is actually locked in, I know I live in HP Electric unless this is like this Talonflame is like invested in special attack, so I can just spam Scald here to cover all plays and get rid of the drill. But he is actually reveals to be not Scarf and puts me in range of HP Electric, which is kind of annoying. But I get rid of the Excadrill, and I force Talonflame to attack me. Can't live a Scald in rain. I can go into my Zero Aura, even if he roosts up. Plasma Fist always is a 2-hit KO, and I actually outspeed, so my aggressive speed creep working out well. And yeah, we get the nice 4-0 win in week 1. GG to my opponent. I think he played it really well and prepped very solid in my opinion. I don't think he had a good matchup, so he was like kind of forced into some sets like Separ Azu. He was forced to bring Hazard Control because Talonflame pressured a lot of my stuff and he needed to bring it, so he was forced into Spin Drill or Defog Gladi. So it was like kind of limited to what he could bring, and yeah, he like lost because of that probably. But there wasn't much he could do. In my opinion, he played this really well. It was a pretty enjoyable match. A little closer than the outcome looked like because he really put my Komoro and Metagross pretty low. So it was more like a 2-0 win than a 4-0, but overall a very solid match in my opinion. Yeah, that's it for week 1 in the IDM. Week 2 going up next week, obviously, if I feel like recording. But hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like in the comment if you did, and I catch you in the next video. See ya.